what I've been doing for the last 5 years is running a sort of think and do organisation. So on the one hand, we do policy work, we work with governments all over the world, corporates, and then we do really hands-on, on-the-ground community power. So we work with people who are marginalised, left out, bringing them into the digital world and understanding how those technologies are changing their lives. And what is very easy not to always remember when we're in buildings like this, thinking about the opportunities of technology, is that actually people are complicated, right? And life is very hard. And although technology can seem complex, it's a lot easier than life, right? And that it can be very tempting to over-technologize everything. So what I'll be talking about the next 20 minutes is how to put people at the heart of that. So I have 3 things I'll be talking about specifically. The first is that sometimes getting it right is messier than we think it's likely to be. The next is that the fear of missing out, right? I know that probably everybody here is hearing all these amazing things about what AI in particular is able to do, and how we're allegedly looking at productivity going up by hundreds and hundreds of %, but that actually sometimes we know in our heart of hearts what is really right. And the last is the importance of meeting people where they are. So, what do I mean by messy systems? So this diagram underneath this is a 1950s picture by someone called Stafford Beer. So he was an American computer specialist in the post-war, and he was one of the people who developed the theory of cybernetics. That it would be possible for machines to think like people, and that there's all this complexity happening in data. And one of the things I've noticed is that one of the only things that is as complicated as this kind of data is government. Government becomes its own complicated machine. Bureaucracy. There are ways of doing things, there are ways of organising things, there are hierarchies, there are ways, it's always happened. And there's an interesting thing that happens when you start to bring governments together with technology, which is that everyone can get very accustomed to admiring how it all works, right? Trying to make the system move seamlessly from A to B, without acknowledging that actually you might have to move around the whole of the alphabet on the way there. So what do I mean by that? I have definitely worked on lots of big projects where the things that are happening outside in the world get lost, and we don't remember what life is like, because what we're very busy doing is organising the data, organising the systems, making it work. And very early in my digital career, I worked on reference books, like putting big, old-fashioned 19th century books online, where they had all these complicated references and systems within them. And we would everyone who was working on these things, we would wake up in the night lost in the book, right? You would dream in the dictionary because we were thinking about how that data was organized so much that it had come into our own lives and we weren't really thinking about what was happening in the world. And later on, like 20 years later, I worked on a project that was looking at how to make end-of-life care better for people. And so these are people who might be in the health system with a number of different specialists they're seeing regularly. They may have many underlying illnesses, issues at home. Their lives are very complicated. And what we realised is that everybody in the NHS, which is the health service, was trying to make the system internally work completely perfectly, whereas people's lives were not working perfectly. And we were admiring how it was working too much. And not only are individual people's lives messy, but we are politically, from a climate perspective, economically, living in times of lots of change. So this is a couple of years old. This is a diagram that the economist Adam Tooze made in 2022 that was trying to capture what was going on in the world and how things like possibly war and conflict that may be occurring hundreds of miles away would be felt in the day-to-day life of individuals.